And Brisbane going for their 22nd win in a row at home tonight. That's a very imposing record indeed. 21 on the trot they've won here at ANZ Stadium. Penrith, who will well remember their last visit to ANZ Stadium at the end of last year when Brisbane were able to rack up 50 points against them. I doubt, though, Wally Lewis, that's going to be the case tonight.
Well, you very much doubt it. Have a look at the team. It doesn't really indicate that Brisbane battle boy anywhere near that point. But you have a look at the Brisbane team coming on. You can just tell the confidence that's on board their team at the moment, John. They've produced some pretty professional performances here at ANZ. I don't think that's going to change.
Yes, a very imposing Brisbane lineup for tonight. And of course, main interest centres in the return of the number 5. Wendell Sailor back into the Brisbane lineup this evening. As we see the Penrith Panthers being led out by Steve Carter. And a good Penrith side it is, with Carter and Alexander and the likes of Girdler and Williams, and a very strong forward pack. And of course the return of Mark Geyer strengthens them even further.
Yeah, and you have a look at even their reserves bench. They've got plenty of talent on board there. The coach, Royce Simmons, he'll have these guys pumped up for a return. He didn't like losing that match by that scoreline last year. So I'm going to have my eyes open on this bloke tonight, Ryan Girdler. A super player. His battle with Renouf should be worth the price of admission alone.
So Ryan Girdler putting the ball in motion straight down to Alan Langer, who feeds it away to Shane Webke to bring it out towards the 20. Let's take you to the ground, to the sideline to check on ground conditions. And good evening to Andrew Voss.
And boys, quite a stiff northerly blowing, swirling in fact around the stadium tonight. That'll be predominantly at the backs of the Panthers tonight. Look, I just think it's a tremendous test for the Panthers defence tonight. They've already conceded 9 tries in 2 rounds this year. They had a poor record in the Super League last year. If they get their defensive part of their game in order, this will be a great contest.
Andrew Voss on the sideline, and the first penalty goes to Brisbane.
Mark there, play on.
Penrith just creeping up inside the 10, and they're the sort of penalties that coaches hate. Late in a tackle count against a side like Brisbane, they're already inside your territory, and then you give away a penalty.
Yeah, basically giving them 10 or 11 tackles in a row, but you heard the referee calling wait. Just a little bit of nervous start for the Penrith boys, but if anything, it might sting them into a little bit of action.
So Alan Langer using the decoy runner and then giving it away to Andrew G, who's tackled on the Penrith 20. And they go away to the right-hand side through Langer and then away to Kevin Walters. He misses out Renouf, gives it away to Darren Smith. Smith, though, is driven to ground, lost the ball there. Good defence by Penrith. Darren Smith, who's been in such great form for the Brisbane Broncos in the first 2 games this season, but driven to ground in a terrific tackle put over by Robbie Beckett and made lose the ball. So Greg Alexander works this Penrith scrum. Just on their own 30-metre mark, the Panthers. Sid Domick, former Bronco, of course, playing in the centres, wearing number 4. And Andrew G just being called across.
Too high.
High tackle by Andrew G, and so Penrith's first penalty, a relieving penalty for them. They find touch just 32 metres out from the Brisbane line. So the first real chance for the Panthers to attack. Tony Puletua, only 18 years of age, guy with terrific talent. Mark Geyer doing well to unload to Carter, who pushes it away to Ryan Girdler. Girdler getting into space. It's able to slip a pass on the outside. That could be the first try of the night. Robbie Beckett getting the ball down in the corner.
I want to have a look at it. I want to have a look at the corner post. I want to have a look at his cross.
Brian Grant talking to the third referee tonight, who is Noel Bissett, who will be called on to adjudicate on whether Robbie Beckett has got the ball down cleanly.
Well, gee, it doesn't look like there's too many problems for Penrith there. Perhaps if there's a camera side on, well, it doesn't look like there's too much of a decision there to make. Really, all the work was done.
So Noel Bissett just not sure as to whether or not He's lost the ball at the last moment. Remembering that he only has to have the smallest amount of pressure, a fingernail on the ball to place it is enough. But did he have control of it? I think.
We're hearing for the video replay to be called one more time. Make your own minds up. Start tossing the coin.
Yeah, well,
I thought it was a pretty fair try.
I think he slammed it down. It's a fair enough try for me.
Boys, I've got a problem with his left forearm. I think it's simultaneous that his left forearm's over the sideline.
No try.
Yeah, no try for mine.
Yeah. A tough one for Noel Bissett.
It'll be interesting to see how they call it. No try. Well, gee, I'm sure that'll be spoken about for a couple of hours after the match ends tonight.
So a tough one for the third referee for tonight, Noel Bissett, and a let-off as far as Brisbane's concerned. But I suppose some danger signs for Brisbane. If there was any complacency in this Brisbane side, that great run of Ryan Girdler to set up that movement should have shaken away the cobwebs.
Yeah, you've got to really look after that guy. Quality footballer, really a great bloke. If anything, I think that situation there, the call from the video replay, has done a lot for Wendell Saylor's confidence. Pretty nervous, but gee, Vossi, you really had to toss a coin in that corner.
Yeah, you did. I would have ruled no try, but I would have come up with probably a scrum, or if it was the last tackle, a changeover, because I just thought at the exact moment that Beckett has forced the ball, I had no drama with him forcing the ball. It was his left forearm that was in fact on the sideline.
So Penrith in possession. No score as yet, and a let-off as far as Brisbane is concerned. Sid Domick will play it. Just 15 minutes out from his own line, and they work it away to the blind side. Running it hard is Jody Gore. Matt to Mark Geyer. Almost overran that pass. He just hadn't timed it correctly, Mark Geyer, and at the last moment just slowed down a little to take the ball. Now away once more to Pulatua, getting out wide. 10 metres on his own side of halfway. Greg Alexander with the kick. First chance for Wendell Saylor. Just looked at first as if he may have been favouring that thumb, which he broke 5 weeks ago in a trial match against Adelaide. Gordon Tells. Been in terrific form for Brisbane. Slung to ground by Matt Adams. Peter Wright playing it just on his own side of halfway. Kevin Walters back into traffic. Steve Carter comes over the top to get him. Second head up in this set of 6 for Gordon Tells. Slipping it away to the brilliant Darren Lockyer, who unloads to Alan Langer, who gives it wide to Darren Smith, and then Langer doubles around him, doubles to the outside, turns it to Kevin Walters on the inside. Walters is grabbed to ground in the covering defence of Peter Jorgensen. 5 tackles gone for Brisbane. Langer gives it in centre field. Takes the pass back again once more, Alan Langer. Then the kick is put into the air by Lockyer, and Peter Jorgensen is back there to take it. And Lockyer, following the kick through, puts Jorgensen to ground. Able to give his pass then to Jason Williams, who was put to ground some 12 metres out from his own line. Sid Domick slammed to ground. Take again by Jorgensen. And the tackle made by Darren Lockyer following his kick through. Craig Gard had such a brilliant 1997, Craig Gard. Again, he runs in to be the dummy half. Greg Alexander getting his kick away once more, putting it towards Wendell Saylor's wing. Saylor crosses his own 30, beats the first line of defence. Lockyer backing up does well. Dragged to ground in the tackle of Robbie Beck. So Brisbane reaching the halfway mark, and Darren Smith getting away down the touchline, gets the pass back on the inside. Touch judge ruling, though, that he had gone into touch, Darren Smith.
Pete, want your head stay in that scrum until the pill's out.
What do you reckon, Wally? Some real danger signs already for the Panthers. Some of the tacklings left a little to be desired, and the ball that Gordon Tallis got away on the previous set of 6 under the attentions of 3 defenders. Well, he had no right to get a pass away.
Yeah, that's for sure, mate. But I think the opening few minutes here has really become evident of what style of football that we're going to see tonight. Penrith like to keep the ball alive. Will-o'-the-wisp type attack. Alexander can pull anything out of the hat. It's certainly going to excite the crowd. I don't know what it's going to do for either coach today. They might start panicking a little bit if they see their players actually take it overboard a little.
So it's Penrith just inside their own territory. Pass being slipped back to Craig Gower. Gower pushed to ground by Gordon Tallis and Kevin Wallace. Now the pass slipped to John Cross. Just inside Brisbane territory. Alexander, their playmaker. Away to brother-in-law Mark Guy. Gower distributes on the blind side. Alexander uses the grubber kick. Darren Lockyer runs back to his own try line to pick it up for Brisbane. Chase is good though. Penrith coming down to the line to get him. And Brisbane, as they do so often, prepared to throw the ball wide, only a few metres out from their own line. Mark Geyer makes the tackle on Michael Hancock. Brad Thorne dropping the shoulder into Matt Adamson, who does well to hold on to the Brisbane front rower. Andrew G. Ball and all tackle by Greg Alexander. Shane Webke with the go forward for Brisbane. 5 tackles gone and they're 32 out from their own line, Brisbane. Alan Langer calls for it on his own 30 and chips from his own 30.
Alan, stand up, please. That's tackle 1.
Probably a dangerous thing to do, to chip just out, virtually just out from your own line. So can Penrith capitalise?
Yeah, probably the wrong move to make there from Elf on that occasion. A short little chip coming over the top. They really look to have it quite adequately covered. Craig Gower, the man that had it looked after as a penalty comes the way of Penrith. Broncos getting a little bit too carried away. That's all come about, though, of course, because of the wrong decision made by Elf.
That's the story, Steve.
Easy to be critical, I suppose, but given time over again, I'm sure that Elf would have opted to take the long-ranging kick.
No, what's happening that sound?
Well, I guess the other way of looking at it is with Alfie Langer, there's been those thinking that perhaps he's still playing a little within himself on the comeback trail from that groin injury and the groin surgery he had in the off-season. That could be a good point, that he's prepared to try something early, that he's feeling basically 100% tonight.
I suppose you have to say about Alan Langer, he tries tactics like those and so often they come off and we say he's a genius when they don't.
Yeah. Well, that's for sure, John. But I think you've really got to have a look at Royce Simmons as the coach. Royce is a guy that doesn't like to give anything away. Of course, his nickname was Softy. Certainly doesn't indicate what style of a coach he is. He absolutely hates opposition halfbacks being able to run anywhere near the edge of the ruck. He believes that if they're going to do their running, they go out and do it a little bit wider, nowhere near the engine room.
Ryan Girdler, who has a career record of 73% success with his goal kicking. Kicked somewhere around 90% success rate last year. A relatively easy kick for Ryan Girdler, and he makes no mistake. And so the Panthers get the first points on the board at ANZ Stadium, and Penrith lead Brisbane by 2 points to 0. I guess Alan Langer would probably feel that he had a part to play in giving away that 2 points. Having used that chip kick, Brisbane's defence was then under pressure and didn't get back to 10, and Brad Thorne eventually being penalised. So Penrith bring it back from the restart. Matt Adamson plays it just inside his own 20. Hard run by Jody Gall. Craig Gower skirts away from dummy half. Slowed down by Tallis. The tackle completed by Peter Wright. Greg Alexander again working out of dummy half. Just testing the Brisbane marker defence at the moment, Penrith, as they work it down towards halfway. Alexander prepared to miss out one, pops the pass back, it comes away through, first of all, Mark Geyer onto Jason Williams, tackled by Steve Reynolds. Sid Domick on the last now. Little kick ahead by Matt Adamson, picked up by Darren Lockyer. Lockyer trying to spin away from John Cross's tackle, he can't. 10 on his own side of halfway he plays it. Through Alan Langer. Langer gives it away to Peter Wright. Good defence though by Penrith. John Plath out of dummy half, got around the first attempt to tackle of Gower, then is caught by Geyer. Ball lost fair and square too by John Plath, and so Penrith come up with possession. Jorgensen running it and giving it away to Sid Domick. Domick taken to ground by Renouf going in underneath. Just seeing the ball drag free. Mark Geyer was the only one in the tackle, so he's allowed to strip the ball. So Penrith, 35 out from the Brisbane line. Gower again runs himself and almost gets through a half gap. Closed by Shane Webke. Turn back again to Gower and switch back on the inside to a hard-running Jody Gall. And Gall gets to only 13 metres out from the line. All Penrith so far as they run it wide to Steve Carter. Carter to Girdler, putting it into the in goal. Comes after it this time. Was he onside, says the referee.
Gee, that was a quality play. And of course started the ruck before the play which the try was scored. Fantastic movement around the ruck area. A cross ball. Alexander's going to be expected to do that all night long. It started off in fashion. The ball being shifted wide. You can really see the Broncos cover defence in two minds at the moment. Not too many players that have the opportunity to be able to use something like that. Boy, that's a terrific play from Penrith. You'd expect it to be a little bit of panic movement so close to the line and shift the ball wide to try and get the try on the outside. I don't think this will meet too many claps here at the stadium.
So Robbie Beckett has been very much in the action for Penrith tonight. One try disallowed in the opening minutes. But no doubt about that try to Robbie Beckett. Smart work by Penrith, again working down Wendell Saylor's wing, perhaps thinking that Wendell Saylor coming back from injury might not be 100%. And so that's where they've attacked. Girdler getting the little grubber kick in behind Wendell Saylor, and a great chase by Robbie Beckett. The touchdown, no mistake about that one. Good try, Penrith.
Just a beautiful kick from Ryan Girdler, wasn't it? Just the deft kick, just placing it between two players, and it's just a further indication that his confidence is sky high.
Probably it's also given the Broncos defenders a little bit of doubt from here on, John. Of course, on the fifth tackle, I don't know now whether to actually stand back and wait for the kick or run up and attack. When they're running the ball on the fifth, shifting it wide, it does create a few problems.
So Ryan Girdler, just a few metres in from touch on the eastern side. Look good off the boot. Just put too much of a hook on it. No goal by Ryan Girdler, but a great start by the Penrith Panthers. And they lead Brisbane by 6 points to 0. It's interesting, of course, last year that when these two sides did meet during the rounds, Penrith caused Brisbane's first defeat of the season at Penrith Park. Brisbane made them atone when they racked up that 50 points in the late in the season. But can Penrith be the first side to put a dent in the Broncos' armour this year? They've started well, the Panthers, leading by 6-0.
John, you mentioned that first round match from last year down at Penrith. It was a 1-point win to the Panthers. It's a night that Darren Lockyer doesn't like to be reminded about. He kicked only 1 from 7 on that night. So I've just reminded him.
Well, the Panthers' confidence will be high, and here's Mark Geyer. Tackle laid on him by Peter Wright. Penrith working it towards halfway. Now driving the kick deep. Darren Lockyer forced back right into the corner to pick this ball up. Chasers come out to meet him. He's caught in a good chase by Penrith. They did come down as one line. It was Ryan Girdler who eventually made the tackle on Lockyer.
Stand again.
Probably not very often you see Darren Lockyer returning a kick get taken by the actual first defender to get to him. He invariably beats the first. So that was well judged, Ryan Girdler.
Pretty important the Broncos put together a constructed set of 6 here. They can't afford to turn over possession anywhere near their line. They're going to have to come up with 1 or 2 more rucks up the centre and put a kick into one of the corners and try and keep them as deep in their own territory as possible.
John Plath, just on the halfway mark. Back to Darren Lockyer, on the last. Straight back to Peter Jorgensen. Positioned himself well, the Penrith fullback, to take that ball on the full. Met and put over by Renouf and Hancock. Sid Domic. 25 metres out from his own line, Domic. Pushing it away to the short side, Alexander, who turns it back on the inside for John Cross, just running on the angle. Read, though, by the Brisbane defence. The tackle made by Andrew G. Jody Gould able to give it away to Matt Adamson.
First change of the night, boys. Phil Adamson is on for Mark Geyer, the big MG having a rest.
So the brothers Adamson on the field. The first touch for Phil Adamson this time. And this is the last tackle coming up for the Panthers. And again, Greg Alexander putting the kick in between Wendell Saylor and Darren Lockyer. And again, the chase is terrific. Led this time by Robbie Beckett, getting across there with John Cross leading the chase.
Greg, 2, wait, thank you.
On their own 20,
wait,
Brisbane.
2. 3,
Brad Poole.
Again, Matt. 3, wait, cheers, thanks, Steve.
Peter Ryan. Tough run by Ryan, but the Penrith defence is reading Brisbane's attack pretty well so far. Shane Webke held on to on tackle number 5, and they're still 10 on their own side of halfway. Langer's kick.
Off the foot, everyone's on side.
Jorgensen trying to trap it with the foot. Couldn't stop it cleanly at the first attempt. Tackle made on him by Gordon Tallis.
Wonder the Alpha be all that impressed, John, with that kick. It went straight down the throat of Jorgensen.
Ryan Girdler making a mistake. Picked up quickly by Darren Smith. He's chased by Greg Alexander and dragged to ground just 12 metres out from the Penrith line. Alan Langer. Langer throws the long pass into centre field to G, then to Lockyer. Loose pass goes out to Hancock. Hancock going back infield. Runs in behind a couple of his own teammates. No obstruction rules the referee, and he's 11 metres out where he's dragged to ground. John Plath giving it back to Alan Langer. A short pass to Kevin Walters into a gap. He looked for support coming on the inside. There was no one there. Langer throws a pass quickly out wide to Steve Renouf, and the Broncos try-scoring machine goes into touchdown for the first try for the Brisbane Broncos. The 117th career try for the Broncos for Steve Renouf.
And what a way to celebrate his 150th game for the club. But really, an opportunity being presented to them, of course. Ryan Girdler turning over possession a little bit earlier. The Broncos needing just 4 tackles to make them pay for the mistake. Very good defence on that occasion from Darren Smith, the slight defence, and improved the situation, taking it a further 20 or 30 metres downfield. Really gave Brisbane a golden opportunity. Penrith had 6s and 7s in their defence, but some terrific ball skills on that occasion from the big fella, Andrew G. Not normally known as a fella that passes the football too much.
Got a terrific strike rate, doesn't he, Steve Renouf? Probably a better strike rate than Shane Warne in those 150 first-grade matches. Yet another try. Interesting, when that drop ball happened, Penrith were actually affecting a change. Matt Adamson coming from the field and Duncan McGilvray coming on. He found himself out on the wing, the replacement player, just for one moment, and came up with a missed tackle on Michael Hancock.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate, wasn't it, Andrew, that he was being replaced, of course, while they were trying to... Penrith thought that they were going to have the football. All of a sudden, they were thrown into a little bit of confusion there, but we just... I just finished getting through giving Alfie a bit of a clip over the ears about the bad kick. He was the first one to admit last week that his kicking game was atrocious. He said that he'd never kicked so badly in his life. Perhaps after this match, John, he may claim that he did that on purpose to try and come up with a mistake a little bit later on.
Well, they're just that sort of side, Brisbane. You make one mistake anywhere really, I suppose anywhere on the field, but particularly inside your own territory, you hand over possession to them and they will make you pay for it. They make one mistake. Ryan Girdler, who's been having such a good game tonight, drops one ball. Brisbane are in to score within the next 6 tackles. Darren Lockyer from near touch. Looking good off the boot. Looks brilliant off the boot. It's there. Great kick, Darren Lockyer. Brisbane 6 and Penrith 6, midway through the first half.
Gee, hasn't he developed as a wonderful footballer? Here's the try coming up. Langer simply drawing the mark of defence. Penrith in a little bit of confusion. Jason Williams racing up out of the line. Renouf left with probably one of the easiest tries he'll ever score in his career.
Wally, I suppose the Queensland and Australian selectors are already starting to look at representative form for the test match against New Zealand on Anzac Day, and then of course the state of origin. From a Queensland point of view, what a tough decision with
Thanks, Greg.
two great players. Robbie O'Davis had a wow of a game again for Newcastle today, and Darren Lockyer from the Brisbane Broncos. So 6-all it is, and Brisbane bringing it back. They're 12 on their own side of halfway. Michael Hancock has just had a wonderful 1998, and as soon as we say that and give him a rap, he loses the ball, but they'll draw a penalty.
Stripped weight.
Ball being stripped off Michael Hancock. Greg Alexander was first into the tackle, and then Phil Adamson. So Brisbane drive it only 30 metres out from the Penrith line. That's where the tap will be taken, and so Brisbane again able to put pressure back on Penrith. Bradford playing the ball. Alan Langer calling for it in centre field. Away to Andrew G slipping through a gap at the last moment. He was caught in the tackle of Tony Puletua. John Plath out of dummy half. McGilvray has him, not effectively. Got it back to Andrew G. Wide to Darren Lockyer, straight into it. Back Lockyer, back to Webke and went forward.
Yeah, no doubt about that pass whatsoever. It did travel forward. Gee, what a terrific occasion it was.
What about Andrew G?
He's just all over the park. Can't stop him. Wasn't that a great ball? Getting it round the corner. And the big fella, Shane Webke, crossing. Nothing dirty about not being denied a try, but again, Penrith now would realise that they can't afford to provide opportunities for Brisbane.
Good play from Webke too, wasn't it? Just to back up Darren Lockyer. He saw that there was just half an opportunity there, and he really put a spurt on the front row.
Has to be one of the most improved young players in the league is Shane Webke. I suppose this year realises with no Glenn Lazarus in the Brisbane lineup, he has to take responsibility. As a change, Penrith lose the ball. Brisbane come up with it. Well, Brisbane made them play last time they did that, the Panthers. Will they do it again? And here is Andrew G once more on the charge and unloads again to Kevin Walters, running wide and straight into a gap. Walters was able to get it back to Darren Smith. Smith is caught, almost slides over the line. He's only a metre out from scoring.
He's dropped the ball.
Stand up. Stand away. Zero tackle.
Brisbane losing the ball right on the Penrith line. So a let-off for the Panthers.
Oh, gee, look at him in there at dummy half. He looked like a pile of ants at a bucket of prawns, didn't he? Just deciding to get in around him. He was hungry for that four-pointer. Oh, gee, what saved him there? Have a look at that.
Jody
It's a
Gall.
foot that saved him. Jody Gall's put the foot down.
Well, Jody Gall, he probably has about a size 15. That saved them. Darren Lockyer has planted the ball right on Jody Gall's foot.
Yes. Wait for Allen.
So a let-off for the Panthers. And 6-all it is.
No, I don't go in there, Peter.
Kevin Campion's now out there for the Broncos. Shane Webke, in fact, has just come to the bench. He's got a bit of a gash just under the right eye.
So Penrith working it towards halfway. Craig Gower going into dummy half and giving it away through Greg Alexander and then on to John Cross. Cross gets over the halfway mark. To Gower and then to Alexander. Pushed wide to Steve Carter, the Penrith captain. Showing it back on the inside. Couldn't get the pass away though. Alexander once more. Gives the pass away to Gower. Then it goes wide to Cross. On to Girdler. Calls Beckett back on the inside. Brisbane defence reads it well. Chased by, first of all, Darren Smith to get to him. Now back to Alexander. On the fifth, under a fair bit of pressure, putting it across field. They all go up for it. Loose on the ground. Penrith dive on
They
it.
knock on both ways. Penrith first.
Yeah, interesting call, this one, isn't it?
Oh,
This is an interesting call. Knocked on both ways. Penrith first. It'll be a Brisbane loose and feed.
Well, the video will tell us one way or another whether we've been a little bit quick in jumping in, but it looked to me that that ball's gone backwards. Renoff's dropped the ball forward. I'm just waiting to see whether the Penrith knock-on has come.
No, not for
I'll
mine.
be waiting for a while there to see it, I think.
No hand on the ball. Stand up together. Wait for me, Mark, please.
So Brisbane win the ensuing scrum, which they have been lucky to get. Michael Hancock, 15 inside his own half. 6 all it is. As a quick break being made by Philip Lee, who's just come onto the field for Brisbane. Gets inside Penrith territory. Langer switches it back to Darren Lockyer, just running off the hip of his captain.
Make sure you're there. Wait.
Plath is the dummy half. Alan Langer on the right-hand side. Kevin Wallace and intercepted immediately by Ryan Girdler. There's no one within QE of him. Rendell Saylor will give chase, but he's got Buckley's hope of getting him, and Ryan Girdler is in under the post.
Alan.
Now hold it just for a moment. Brian Grant was just checking, first of all, that everything was right, but no mistake about that one. Intercept by Ryan Girdler, and Penrith hit back immediately.
Yeah, they did a little bit of a wobbly pass from Kevy. Interesting to see from the wide screen. There was a little bit of doubt over the Penrith defence, whether he thought they were back 10 metres. They certainly were, probably back an extra couple. A bit of a short ball probably would have been more advisable, but it's very difficult to see a guy with that professionalism come in. Geez, hasn't he developed as a magnificent rugby league centre, Ryan Girdler? Well, I think you can probably say that if that ball had gone to Darren Smith's hands, it was try time for Brisbane. Unfortunately, it didn't.
So the easiest of kicks from in front for Ryan Girdler to convert his own try, which he does, and Penrith lead the Broncos by 12 points to 6. I know that came from an intercept, Wally, but really all of Penrith's attack tonight has come down their left-hand side. Yeah. Out here on the right, Jason Williams, well, he might as well not be on the field for Penrith. He's had absolutely nothing to do, particularly in attack. Everything has been centred down that left-hand side towards Wendell Saylor's wing.
Yeah, well, that's a common point. Without being disrespectful to Wendell, a lot of people think that they are a little bit better advantaged attacking to that left-hand side of the field, their own left-hand side of the field. The Broncos right that Wendell is on. Perhaps there has been a couple of opportunities there, but really it's put Penrith right back into the match. They're in front. Their confidence looked to be waning a little bit until that intercept, but now it's sky high. It's going to be tough to hold from here.
They certainly are, as Matt Adamson is 12 inside his own territory. John Cross showing it to the outside and then running himself and getting almost to halfway. Craig Gower again burrows out of dummy half, picks up about 8-9 metres. Last is coming up. Little kick ahead by Darren Brown, and will find touch. Just a few metres out from the Brisbane line, so this scrum will set 10 metres out, 20 metres in.
Interesting change in this Penrith side too. Steve Carter's just taking a rest at the moment. Craig Wise is out there in 16. Now he is the bloke from the Hunter Mariners last year who obviously left a big impression on Roy Simmons when the Panthers ran into the Mariners, because it was Craig Wise's second match in first grade and he came up with 3 tries against the Panthers, and here he finds himself in Penrith colours this year.
And Andrew, it's a huge move, not just that he's moved into the 5'8" position, of course, but Steve Carter being the Penrith captain.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's most unusual, that your captain comes to the bench, he's uninjured, and he was the man who really did force the intercept. The pressure he put on in defence, he actually threw himself like a missile in defence to force the intercept.
The referee repacking this scrum, which screwed right around. In fact, Brisbane were probably a little lucky that it wasn't struck against the head by Penrith. There's Craig Wise, the former Hunter Mariner.
Feed it and get it out. Get it out. Right, play off.
Won this time by Brisbane. Michael Hancock coming in off the left wing to go in as first receiver in centre field. Philip Lee. Ooh.
Good evening.
Runs into a solid tackle. Craig Wise led the way, and in to help him in the tackle was big Matt Adamson. I think he meant business, Matt Adamson. So Brisbane getting back towards the halfway mark.
John, that's about the 5th or 6th time we've seen them open up the centre of the ruck. I think that's going to be a real danger area for them. They don't plug those holes.
5 tackles gone for Brisbane. Alan Langer runs up to be the dummy half for the Broncos. Langer goes back to the blind side, uses a little grubber kick ahead. Kicked again by Brisbane. Kevin Walters getting his foot to it. Penrith able to get back there though. Peter Jorgensen, the Panthers fullback, cleans up.
Oh, I don't think Kevy will get himself a contract with one of the National Soccer League clubs after that little effort. Maybe a little bit off balance, but again, the ruck opening up the centre. Roy Simmons will be talking about that in about 10 minutes' time. Langer and John Platt in particular, the guys that are forcing those huge holes.
Well, you get the feeling about this match, even though we're still 10 minutes out from half-time, that it's going to take, 26, 28 points to win this game.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be one of those games that are going to finish with just 2 points in it at 8-6 or 12-10 or something like that.
Jody Gall getting through a gap, looking to get his right arm free to unload. He couldn't. So Alexander uses the kick on the last tackle, and he'll push this into touch. Just on the Brisbane 20.
Interesting to see Andrew down there on the sideline. Looks like Ben Walker's about to take the field. He's a guy that I'm sure Wayne Bennett would probably be putting onto the field at the moment for his ability and discipline around the edge of the rucks. We saw him last week in action, of course, against Canterbury. As soon as he came onto the field, really upstaged his bigger name opposition and rivals.
Yeah, it's
a very talented young man.
It's the timing of the move too, isn't it? 8 minutes out from half-time. Andrew G just coming from the field. He's been replaced by Brad Thorne, but Walker going out there 8 minutes from half-time, a tiring defence and looking to really spark something.
And Walker's gone in at hooker, John.
Yeah, went straight in and packed into the hooking role in that scrum. Gordon Tellis crosses his own 30-metre mark. Tackle made on him by Duncan McGilvray. Here is Walker trying to get away from dummy half. Michael Hancock does some of the bullocking work himself. Alexander making the tackle on him. Kevin Campion turning it back to Walker. Walker unloads brilliantly to Alan Langer. Langer turns it to Michael Hancock, backing up on the inside. Just outside the Penrith 20, a quick play the ball, and on the last, Darren Lockyer uses the little grubber kick into the in goal. Penrith go back and clean up. Jorgensen will get back there, held in goal, and a goal line dropout coming up for Penrith.
Desperation in numbers for the Penrith side. They look like they're in a lot of strife. Again, the play coming up the centre of the ruck. Roy Simmons is going to be pulling out every strand of hair, sitting in the grandstand, trying to work out how he's going to stop these guys. But pretty important for the Broncos at the moment. They try and speed the game up a little bit. We can see Penrith taking their time, obviously in no hurry to get this game started again. Just over 6 minutes remaining. But they've got to try and speed the game up, try and make sure that a lot of the Penrith tacklers, whilst involved in defence, stay on the ground in defence. A quick play the ball will weaken the centre of the ruck defence even further.
Wendell Saylor brings it back. Penrith would like to slow it down as much as they can. They realise that it's often at this stage, the 5 minutes before half-time, where Brisbane can be so lethal. And they're only 15 metres out from the line again. Gordon Tellis coming from well back and running hard and gets to the 10-metre mark before he was tackled. And a quick play, the ball to Walker. Turns it inside to Steve Renoff and back to Alan Langer. The Penrith defence came up quickly, though, out of the line to knock him over. It was Jody Gall. Brisbane 5 metres out from scoring. On the last, Brisbane to player. Back to Kevin Walters at dummy half, and away to Walker, uses the little grubber kick. Penrith come up with it. Lost by Big Matt Dyer. Quickly away to Steve Renoff, and Renoff will go in and score. Well, they had the ball, and Mark Dyer made a fumble of it as he tried to get it quickly. Loses the ball, and Brisbane capitalise. And Roy Simmons will want to throw himself off the grandstand.
Oh, gee. And he's going to... you have a look at the big fella, Steve Renoff. He's going to decide to celebrate this match even better. Dude, that was just a nightmare. Couldn't work out what went wrong, but I'm sure that that Geyer, it looked like that he'd saved the day for Penrith for a little while there, but it turned into a real nightmare. Here's the grubber kick coming up, dropping down on top of it, Geyer, just as he got to his feet to try and get rid of the ball, slipping out of his hands. Smart thinking from Lockyer, spread the ball as wide as possible, attack the thinnest holes in defence.
Darren Lockyer, almost identical to his first kick at goal. Oh, look at that. And an identical result, 2 points. Great kick, Darren Lockyer squares it up at 12 all. Poor old Mark Geyer. MG will be looking for a hole to swallow him up.
I think that kick was called a little bit of salt. But I can remember the days, John, when I was playing footy, used to think if you made the teams score in the corners, you were basically a little bit better off. I remember playing my very first senior grade game at Valleys, and we got flogged in the game, and the coach told us, well, if you can't stop them from scoring tries, make them score in the corner. They can't convert them from out there.
So 12 points all. Wendell Saylor brings it back. There's still 3 minutes until the break. Now, penalty. Ball strip rules referee Brian Grant.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Obviously 2 men in the tackle.
2 in the tackle, and Jody Gall just getting that arm underneath to knock the ball out. So still plenty of time for Brisbane to put more points on the board before the break. 2.5 minutes and they're back just near halfway as Tony Carroll, who's just onto the field, plays the ball.
Well, they're going to end up with 2 sets of 6 here. They'll come up with this set. A kick will come up, and Penrith will probably have the ball only for a maximum of 1 set of 6. So Brisbane have got the opportunity. Do they take the chances, though, of trying for the points, or do they work themselves in a position for a field goal, trying to take a 1-point lead to the break?
Darren Lockyer getting through a gap. Almost unable to unload the ball. Just a little mix-up with Steve Renoff, but they quickly work down the blind side. Walker's kick has come off a Penrith player and then towed ahead once more. And Penrith will get position just on their own 20-metre mark. So now what they want is a good set of 6, but Wendell Saylor taking Penrith player out across the touchline. So
I've got to play a scrum. Broncos loose and feed.
Brisbane will get the feed to this scrum, and Wendell Saylor, who hasn't had a happy night so far, redeeming himself somewhat by getting Brisbane a feed to a vital scrum. Here it is, John Cross.
Well, it was called as he raced away from the position. Craig Wise, the referee, calling 1 man, 1 movement. Oh, gee, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a tough call. He looked like he made contact with the deck first. Now Penrith have got the pressure right back on board.
So it's Brisbane in possession with Brad Thorne getting to 11 metres up from the line. Back to Walker, then it goes to Alan Langer. Holds the pass up through Walters, away to Lockyer. Lockyer setting sail for the line. The Penrith defence, though, scrambles. Hold on to him only a metre short. Quickly away once more to Alan Langer. Jinks gives the pass, which was loose. Picked up by Philip Lee. Back to Langer. Langer sneaking his way through. Ridden the ground, though, in the tackle of John Cross, ball and all. Played back to Walker. Quickly swung away out onto the right-hand side. Philip Lee can't unload. Last coming up for Brisbane. 30 seconds until the break. In the arms of Alan Langer. They run it on the last. Ball goes backwards. Peter Ryan still in possession. Still going Ryan. Steve Renoff and try number 3. And how often do they do it, Brisbane? Inside the last few seconds before the break, they will put a try on the board, and the Pearl Alan Langer scores a hat-trick.
And we've got Alfie down, or just getting to his feet in back play. I think in relief more so than anything else. Here he is here trying to make his mind up whether they should have gone for the field goal or not. Poor old Roy Simmons, I mean, it's just a simple jersey grab attempt that's led to that chance. Renoff, here we were talking about him celebrate with 1, then 2. Let's have another one.
And real problems here. You watch Sid Domick go up when the ball is loose, trying to go up to make a tackle. He falls very awkwardly on his right knee. You watch this, the number 4 for Penrith. He really does prop down and twist it around. He's still lying prone on the surface here, so it could be a double blow for the Panthers.
Andrew, we might, if we can, get another look at that. It will, whilst it's not fun to look at guys' injuries like that, but it's almost a carbon copy of the way Glenn Lazarus broke his leg in England.
You're 100% right.
The ankle got stuck in the dirt. He twisted around. Well, it looks like he's a little bit better off than Lazo. Thankfully, we wish him all the best, because he's got a little bit of a problem with that knee, but that looked terrible. The goosebumps up the arm watching that one, as Lazarus did around about 12 months ago.
Sid Domick, himself a former Bronco, and 3 trainers coming on to assist him from the field. Sid Domick, as Darren Lockyer converts the Renoff try. And Penrith, their heads down a little bit as they head towards the dressing room. Brisbane go in at half-time, leading Penrith by 18 points to 6. The second half about to get underway here at ANZ Stadium, with Brisbane leading the Penrith Panthers by 18 points to 12. Brian Grant getting the second half underway. Matt Adamson bringing it out from his own line. Craig Garr just slipping into dummy half. Penrith getting it to their own 20. Jody Gall to play the ball for the Panthers. Be interesting just to watch how Penrith start the second half, because their heads were down as they left at half-time, with Brisbane having scored a try in the closing couple of seconds of the first half. We might take you to the sideline now, and the media manager of the Brisbane Broncos, Bill Walker. Bill, what did Wayne Bennett have to say to the side at the break?
I'm reasonably happy, John, with the way they came back, particularly the way they hung in there in that first half, being down by so many points. But he targeted defensively, particularly he said they're coming down the left-hand side at the small men, as a ploy that he thought they would do before the game. So he's particularly happy with the way they're adjusting on the inside and covering up there. He also said they'll be attacking the ruck through the middle, which they've been doing, and he's happy with the way the guys are scrambling inside there as well. In attack, he wants them. The catch cry for half-time, in fact, was not to make any mistakes and not to put ourselves under pressure. He thought they might be overplaying a few things in attack, maybe just forcing the pass a little, which resulted in that intercept try, of course. But he just thought that the go forward was good. The mistake rates, the handling rates, about 70%. He thought they could improve there, but overall, pretty happy.
Thanks, Bill. Bill Walker, the media manager of the Brisbane Broncos. The word from the Brisbane dressing room. In fact, if you look at the stats of the first half, Wally, you see that Brisbane made 10 offloads to Penrith's 4, and the line breaks. Brisbane broke the line 11 times, Penrith only once, and that was the intercept that the Ryan Girdler try.
Yeah, well, that's a total. That's the one that tells the whole first half, doesn't it? Bill Walker mentioned the mistake rate getting a fair bit of the conversation. The half-time break from Bennett.
Penrith just working it out of their own 20 as we take your sideline, and Len Stacker, the assistant coach to Roy Simmons at Penrith. Len, the heads look down as the boys left the field at half-time with that try against them in the dying seconds.
Yeah, it's pretty costly for us. Roy sort of pointed out to the boys that, for 30 minutes we'd played fairly good football. Broncos come up with 12 points in 4 minutes, just leading to the half-time.
Well, then I guess it just had to be seen that probably 3 tackles cost your guys the lead at half-time. Pretty simple errors.
Yeah, they were errors, although, we're fully aware we play a side like Broncos. You just got to get everything right, and you can't relax, and you've got to play every second of the game because, it's such a talented side. They'll get you somewhere in the park. But, if you're going to beat a side like this, you've just got to be in the game all the time. And Royce has just asked for a lot of desperate players out there, not to not underline their ability, but just to make sure that they just make those extra efforts. No walking and chasing and scrambling and all those things that add up to a good combined team defensive effort.
Mate, said Domic, he didn't look like he was too flash when he left the field.
No, the doctor just said a minute or so ago that Sid won't be returning. He's had an ankle injury.
Thanks, Len. Len Stacker there, the assistant coach to Roy Simmons at Penrith, as this ball is lost by Penrith and knocked on.
Could have been another runaway.
And you see the player moving up quickly in defence. It was Carter again, really throwing himself into the tackles. It looks a little ungamely, but it's proved effective in this match.
So the chance for Brisbane to attack as they feed a scrum. 25 metres in from touch and 25 out from the Penrith line. And Langer gives it away to Walters, to Darren Smith into a gap. He almost got around Greg Alexander. Plays the ball. Now to Brad Thorne. Thorne hits it straight back towards the post. Good run by Thorne, 15 metres out from the line. Back again to the left-hand side. Alan Langer, short pass to Kevin Walters. He was almost through.
Stand up together.
John Plather, dummy half. Cutting out Tallis, giving it away to Langer, and then to Renoff looking for number 4. Just lost it over the line.
Probably wishing he had a little bit of the super glue at half-time. Wasn't far away from putting another one down for his 4th of the night. The simple errors probably let Penrith off the hook a little bit, but very important now. They've got a huge set of 6. They've got to play wisely, try and take the ball away.
Talking about wisely, it was Craig Wise who lost the ball, and Brisbane pick it up through Peter Ryan, and only 2 metres out from the line is where he'll play it. Back to Kevin Walters, sweeps it away to Wendell Saylor, steps off the left foot Saylor, gives his pass back to Andrew G. G decides he'll step as well. 8 metres out from the line, again to the left-hand side. Langer feeds it to Shane Webke. Webke trying to bust past Greg Alexander.
Stand up with the ball.
Johnny Platt distributes to Langer. Then quick hands across field to Darren Lockyer. Lockyer plays it. 15 metres from the line. Kevin Walters with a little grubber kick. Craig Gower is able to clean it up.
That's two from Kevin and Hodgson. They're both shockers.
That was an air.
Here it is again.
Oh, go back to the right foot, Kev.
Yes, I doubt you could actually call that a grubber kick. What do you actually call it, Paul? Just stood on it. So Penrith, they've been under the hammer for the opening few minutes of the second half. Desperately want to get out of their own territory and almost a shepherd Jody Gall. The referee rules, though, that the Brisbane defence in the long run wasn't impeded. Last on its way for Penrith. The kick off by Matt Adamson, and that's twice in the second half. They've kicked it a touch on the full.
Yeah, that's a shocker. What they've got to try and do is be a little bit smarter in their construction of their play, taking it away. John, I think Greg Alexander's got to try and take control here. Very important for him. Of course, saw that when Carter left the field just before half-time, that was a time of the match where it was up to Brandy to take control. He's the most experienced player on board the Panthers outfit. Now he's got to try and restore a lot of lost pride in that team at the moment. He's going to be a little bit more gifted in his approach to the team's outlook on the rest of this match.
Darren Lockyer feeding the pass on the inside to Peter Ryan. Craig Gower with a desperate defence got him. Back to Langer. Langer switches his pass to Kevin Walters. 2 metres out from scoring Brisbane. Langer comes back with a short side, able to give his pass though to Ryan Girdler.
It's been a crazy start to the second half, hasn't it? It's not really out of the game plan of either side, the way sets of six have been completed or not completed.
Yeah, it was a good pass from Alf. Unfortunately, it was a good pass to the wrong man. But we heard, of course, Bill Walker talking about Wayne Bennett being fairly happy with his team's approach to their play around that area and not panicking too much. I think he's well, he was in there. I'd be a little bit surprised with that because Bennett's usually a fellow that's bases his coaching on real strict disciplinarianism. Oh, now this is a tough call, John. He's calling that it is a knock-on from the dummy half play. The Penrith players are peeling. They're going crazy over it, and I've got to stand by them on this occasion. One of the players got up to play the ball. Now, he is definitely impeded trying to pick that ball up. There's no way in the world that he got a fair chance to pick that football up.
Brad Thorne was the Brisbane player lying on the ground at that stage. So a tough break as far as Penrith's concerned, and you just wonder how long Penrith can keep Brisbane out when just about all of the second half has been played inside Penrith's territory. Michael Hancock held on to by Alexander. Alan Langer away to Kevin Walters. Walters just with a short pass, calling Philip Lee around the corner to pick the pass up from him. Walters from dummy half, giving his pass back on the inside, and Brisbane drive it forward through Peter Ryan. Back to Alan Langer again. Langer switches it once more to Kevin Walters. Walters throwing the pass wide to Steve Renouf, and that is try number 4 for the Pearl. It is the Steve Renouf show tonight at ANZ Stadium. 4 tries, Steve Renouf, and Brisbane get away to a lead of 22-12.
Well, some pretty smart play from Langer, having a look at the defence, which was a little bit lazy out of marker. Mark Geyer trying to get across there, just couldn't match it for speed with Kevin Walters. And Steve Renouf, gee, how many times do you see a fellow score 4 tries in a game? I don't think he's had a man to beat yet.
Well, boys, I don't know how this match is going to pan out from here, but I reckon Roy Simmons will get the tape after this game and probably edit out about the 9 minutes of the second half, the first 9 minutes, because it has been just a nightmare. It's been a horror story for them. They've kicked out twice on the full. They haven't completed a set of 6. They dropped the ball on the first tackle in front of their own posts, and now they've considered a try to Steve Renouf.
Well, at the end of this game tonight, Wally Lewis will have the pleasure of presenting Steve Renouf with a caricature done by Boo Bailey for Steve Renouf being named the player of round 2. He might be picking up another one next week. 4 tries tonight, Steve Renouf. What a whale of a game he's having.
He sure is, but again, I've got to go back to Penrith. They're the fellas that are causing their own problems at the moment. Simple errors. I'm sure that they'll be the guys that realise it as they stand in a little bit of a huddle there behind the try line. The man there, Alexander, he's the one that really has to take control, lead from the front.
Not a good kick this time by Darren Lockyer, and no goal. But Penrith, well, they've hardly got into Brisbane territory in the second half, and when they did, it was unfortunate for them that they had that ball ruled to have been knocked on when Brad Thorne was lying on the ground, having made a tackle. From there, Brisbane got back into Penrith's half, and here's the result.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen that? Alan Langer running across field, ball in two hands with Kebby aiming up the inside. It's a trademark of their performances together. It's a real pat on the back for both of them that all defensive teams know their play backwards, and they're still able to come up with such a high success rate.
Phillip Lee. With John Cross going over the top. Matt Adamson coming in low. Andrew G. Gets to his own 30-metre mark. Kulatua was the first tackler to get to him. Campion unloading his pass to Michael Hancock. Held by Mark Dyer.
No hands, play ball.
Langer. This time uses the little grubber kick for Darren Smith to chase. Jorgensen, the Penrith fullback, is there. Smith makes the tackle on him. Robbie Becker. Quickly tackled by Brisbane. Fast play the ball by Penrith. Crossfield goes Duncan McGilvray. Alexander. Again working it on the short side. And getting the pass back to him immediately. Then to Steve Carter. Scudder tries to get his way past Langer. Captain on captain. Alexander again. To Mark Geyer. Desperately trying to find a jink in the Brisbane defence. Greg Alexander. Alexander once more with the ball in hand. Looking to roll it towards the in-goal. John Plath is back there to save for Brisbane. 5 out from his own line.
Yeah, that wasn't successful for Penrith. A little bit of bad luck, but they did manage to control the ball for 6 tackles. A horrifying stat for them as Alexander drops the ball in. A clever little kick, but pretty well covered by Johnny Plath. Only 4 times in the match have they managed to hold the ball for 6 tackles and get a kick away. That is something that you just can't hope to have any sort of success in football with that stat.
Kevin Walters trying to break through the tackle of Penrith. Held on to, though, by John Cross. Andrew G. Again, Brisbane work down the short side. Darren Lockyer kicks from inside his own 40. It's going to be too deep. It'll go over the dead ball line.
Yeah, John, it's been very gusty right through the match, and that's certainly indicated by that kick from Darren Lockyer. It can be an advantage and a disadvantage at times. Lockyer obviously was hoping the ball would pull up, but with a breeze at its back, it's gone right over the dead ball line.
Yeah, with the breeze behind it, that turned out to be a very long kick. I doubt Darren Lockyer would have thought when he kicked that the ball would have ended up going over the dead ball line. Penrith restart from the 20 through Mark Dyer. And they have to be the side to score next to the Panthers if they're to get back into this ball game. Brisbane now leading by 22 points to 12. Duncan McGilvray, a one-handed pass which is loose. Andrew G will dive on it.
Knocked on by Brisbane. Got a hand. Scrum.
Not too happy about it, Andrew G, but Penrith will have the feed to this scrum for the Brisbane knock-on.
Well, he's done pretty well on the occasion here, as you can see, the big fellas. I don't know whether G actually meant to get his hand on the football. The new rule, of course, coming in, if the player doesn't actually play it, the ball, it can't be deemed as a knock-on. The 2 big men leaving the field at the moment, 2 real workhorses. Probably the Penrith guys lucky to see them leave the field, but at the same time realising the guys that are coming on are faster, fitter men.
So Penrith back in possession and 30 out from the Brisbane line. John Cross, isolated though Cross, gets his pass back to Steve Carter. Carter getting his pass back across field to Brown. The Brisbane defence reading Penrith pretty well and putting them to ground. Here's Adamson. Matt Adamson crosses the 20. Back to John Cross. Then away to Alexander, running it and showing it. Ball to be played, only 10 metres out from the line by Penrith. Again, it's Alexander to Girdler, rolling it into the in-goal, and Wendell Saylor gets the arm to it to knock it touch in goal. Goal line dropout coming up for Brisbane.
And that set of 6. Greg Alexander probably was involved in 4 of the plays. Penrith need it, shifting the ball across the field. Once again, attacking Brisbane's right side defence. Wendell getting expected, just tapped that ball away, but good to see Alexander taking control of the Penrith attack again now. They really do look so much more organised when Brandy gets in there. He's a very talented footballer.
Close to being a repeat of that try from the first half to Robbie Beckett. Just beautifully executed that kick of Ryan Girdle. You see it beautifully on the replay, just dropping it on the foot, really threading the needle with the kick.
So Penrith running it back immediately. Duncan McGilvray gets to 30 metres out from the Brisbane line. Now to Adamson. Adamson put over in a tough tackle though by Tony Carroll. Up the short side to Tony Pulatua. 12 metres out from the line, Pulatua plays it back to Cross. Again to Alexander. Then it goes to Steve Carter, running it, showing it, and then dropped. Put to ground by Penrith. Lost by Duncan McGilvray. And another chance goes begging.
The play over the last couple of sets of six, Penrith has been quite good. They're shifting the ball again, trying to attack the edge of the Broncos' ruck, where a lot of people believe that they're the most vulnerable. Trying to have a go at the smaller men, Langer and Walters.
Stay in there until the ball's out, Darren. Yeah, cheers.
As Adamson gets a break and Jody Gould comes back on, and Brisbane win the scrum, and Wendell Saylor gets out almost to his own 20 before he's put to ground. Down the short left-hand side go Brisbane through Tony Carroll. Philip Lee. Pulatua underneath making the tackle on him. This is Michael Hancock. Wrapped up by John Cross with the aid of McGilvray. Langer kicking early in the count. Peter Jorgensen at fullback for Penrith. Great chase though by Brisbane, led by Darren Smith. Sped down to make sure Jorgensen had absolutely no room to move.
Give it to me.
So Penrith 10 on their own side of half wide. Mark Geyer.
Wait, Kevin, wait.
Out on the short side once more through Darren Brown.
Wait again. Wait.
Cross going in to do the dummy half work now for Penrith.
No penalties on 5.
Last coming up now for Penrith. Call for on the short side. Kicking it away from Darren Lockyer. Lockyer picks it up. Good chase by Steve Carter. Worked well with the kicker Alexander. Try and put Lockyer down into a position where he had a little room to move. It worked for them. So 2 tackles gone for Brisbane and still only 10 out from their own line, and here's Wendell Saylor, and that makes it number 3. Bradford.
Hey, come on,
Pulatua and Cross, the tacklers for Penrith. John Plath, 32 out from his line, and the last coming up.
Inside the 40, all
Walters kicks from inside his 40, rolling towards touch, and almost makes it. Jason Williams gets back forward and then is driven back by Michael Hancock. Good kick by Brisbane.
Wally hasn't been an amazing transformation just this last 5 or 6 minutes. The both sides completing their sets of 6 and getting good kicks on the end and almost forcing Penrith, well, 1 almost getting the 40-20 kick away from Brisbane, and then 2 almost getting a line drop in.
Yeah, they certainly stuck to their task pretty well. Michael Hancock in a little bit of trouble after coming out with that great chase after the kick. He's leaving the field now. Looks to be in a little bit of strife.
Michael Hancock just leaving the field at the moment. As Penrith are 32 metres out from their line. Kick being driven downfield by Greg Alexander. Again to Darren Lockyer. Here comes the Penrith chase. And once more they put Lockyer down in the first tackle. So in that regard, their game plan is working, Penrith. Their kick and chase has been good. Darren Smith. Shane Webke. Good bullocking run by Webke, making 10 metres, and then a quick play the ball, and Alan Langer gives it away to Thorne, and out wide to Tallis, who's back on after a short break. Saylor giving his pass Back inside, trying to slip through as Philip Lee. Got under a high tackle. Still going, Philip Lee.
5, stand up, Darren. Last tackle, Steve. Last tackle, son.
Last coming up for Brisbane. Alan Langer calls for it, decides to run it on the last, slips it back to Darren Smith and then away to Walker. On to Tallis, still on the last Brisbane. Tallis slipping away from Jody Gall. Gets the pass back, still being kept alive to Wendell Saylor. Saylor on the last, uses the centre kick. Penrith back into the in-goal goes Jorgensen and will be thrown to ground by Steve Renoff. Goal line dropout coming up for Penrith.
Gee, it's good when those set plays come off, isn't it, Wally?
Wendell Saylor, how many times has he kicked a football? As you can tell by the grin on the big fella's face, he felt pretty happy about it. The winger not so happy though, Michael Hancock, leaving the field at the moment. Looks like he's got a little bit of a problem with his left forearm.
In fact, he's walking back to the Brisbane bench, and I'm sure Andrew Voss will be able to get a report soon from the Brisbane trainers on just what is the situation with Michael Hancock. As Andrew G hits it back for Brisbane after the goal line dropout. That's the 30-metre line in screen that Brad Thorne crosses now. As he was put to ground in the tackle of Phil Adamson. Brisbane throwing it wide. Steve Renoff couldn't get it. Tony Carroll does so. No knock on.
Mark, thank you.
Lockyer. Fairly well contained in attack tonight, Darren Lockyer. And this will be a penalty. Player in an offside position.
A little bit of misfortune there for Penrith.
Mate, hang on. He's interfered with the play when he could have. Hang on, he could have made an effort to stay back there somewhere. What are you doing?
Well, referee Brian Grant saying that the Penrith player that was simply trying to get back on side, although the ball was thrown into him accidentally.
Shane Webke loses the ball, so Penrith coming up with it from inside their own 20. Craig Gower gets out to the 30-metre mark. Gower just received a knock in that tackle and he's down on his haunches in back play, Craig Gower. As Phil Adamson, in fact, just holding on to that wrist at the moment, favouring the wrist, Craig Gower.
Free one to start. 2, stand up. Wait. 2.
So Brisbane in front by 10, 22 points to 12. Ryan Girdler pushing the pass to Peter Jorgensen. Well read though by Darren Smith in defence for the Broncos. Penrith kick ahead. Girdler, back it goes to Darren Lockyer. Lockyer chased and tackled by Matt Adams. Darren Smith runs it up into the Penrith defence. Geyer makes the tackle on him.
No hands, lad.
Wendell Saylor. Now to Andrew G. Another good, hard, strong run by G. He only knows one way, Andrew G. Straight ahead, as does this man, Gordon Tallis. Here comes the last for Brisbane. Alan Langer wants it, has it now. Uses the kick. Goes back to Jason Williams. One of the few things he's had to do all night, Jason Williams. Everywhere play's been. Jason Williams hasn't tonight. Oh, does Penrith make another mistake and Ryan Girdler putting the ball down. Well,
Girdler
just making a rod for their own back.
Yeah, Ryan protesting here. He believed that he tipped the ball backwards. And at no stage was the ball... Well, we'll leave it. Perhaps the ball was propelled towards the goal line fractionally.
The touch, he couldn't have been any closer.
And again, another opportunity presented, John.
And there's Craig Gower with a problem with his left wrist. That's bad luck for Penrith, and that's another one that we'll just keep a check on.
Have a look at the Broncos' blindside attacking play here. They've got Gordon Tallis standing out in the blind.
Darren Lockyer picks it up from the back of the scrum, quickly away to Kevin Walters. The Steve Renoff coming back infield. They make a meal of it, and Penrith came up with the ball through Darren Brown.
0.
Adamson has the ball reefed out by Kevin Campion.
Up with the ball. 2 2 men up at the ball.
2 going into the tackle draws the penalty for Penrith, and they can certainly do with it. 15 minutes remaining, Penrith trailing by 10. Kevin Walters just getting the hand in to push that ball away with both he and Campion in the tackle. That's a penalty.
Boys, Michael Hancock won't be back tonight. A slight dislocation of the shoulder, but the Broncos are confident that everything is now back in place and in order, but he won't be back tonight.
Thanks, Andrew. Andrew Voss with that report on Michael Hancock. We'll have one as soon as we possibly can on Craig Gower. Walked off holding that wrist. That would be a body blow for Penrith, an injury to Gower. Mark Geyer. They swarm on Mark Geyer, realising what a dangerous player he is and how he can unload passes in traffic.
4 tackles, Darren.
Darren Brown to play the ball 12 metres out from the line. Back inside to Greg Alexander. Alexander looking for the runner in Adamson. Got it back to Cross. Cross gives it away to Alexander. Alexander gives his pass wide, but terrific defence. Tony Carroll getting across there to put Williams into touch. Great defence by the Brisbane winger.
Yeah, it was, and very talented play from Penrith as well, shifting the ball around, keeping the ball alive. Alexander coming right into the game at the moment, but you've really got to pay full credit to the Broncos' defensive slide defence. You'll see there Renoff sliding on the inside of his man. Carroll electing to stay with his man. Wayne Bennett's got a policy of, you look after your own player. If the man inside you scores, it's not your fault. He simply looked after his own player, stood on the inside of him, put a little bit of space between he and the sideline. We've all come to see just what a strong player he is. A very talented winger, Tony Carroll.
You're right, Tony. Nice and tight out there. Feed, Alan. Good tunnel there, Alan. Feed it.
So Alan Langer works the scrum. 10 out from his own line.
John, terrible news for the Panthers. Craig Gower now won't be back. They're pretty confident. They're pretty sure, sadly, that he's cracked a bone in his left hand. He's just getting an ice pack on it now and in a lot of pain. So that is terrible news for the Panthers.
It certainly is. That's the worst possible news they could get, Penrith. They have a serious injury to Craig Gower. Shane Webke for Brisbane. Langer switching it back on the inside. Peter Ryan to play the ball for the Broncos. Darren Lockyer is the kicker on the last. Jorgensen on the kick return for Penrith. Brisbane came down just in a solid line to meet him. Steve Carter giving his pass back across field, but again the Brisbane defence coming up very solidly. Williams to play it. Matt Adamson almost through. Andrew G, a desperation tackle to bring Adamson to ground. Greg Alexander through Steve Carter, then wide to Robbie Beckett. Brisbane defence again is good. Campion coming across in cover to help Darren Smith. Loose pass to Darren Brown. Brown with the long wide pass out to Adamson. That's Phil Adamson. Last coming up for Penrith. On the toe. Kick the head again. Greg Alexander going forward. He'll touch the ball down. Fair try, Greg Alexander. And if ever a player deserved to try, it's Greg Alexander, because he has tried everything to lift this Penrith side, particularly in the second half, and he deserves that try, and that gets the Panthers back into the game.
Yeah, it does, and whilst a lot of people are feeling quite comfortable about the way Broncos are going, we'll have a look at the scoreboard after this. There could be just 4 points in it. A little bit of luck coming the way, but you make your own on the football field. Some good, smart thinking. Good quick play the balls, opening up the opportunities. A little bit of a reflex action. Gave Alexander the chance. But they're right back in this match now.
Alexander, the try scorer, right underneath the dot. And when this try is converted by Ryan Girdler, means another converted try and Penrith can be in front with 10 minutes remaining. No mistake, Ryan Girdler. It's Brisbane 22 and Penrith 18. And we're in for an exciting last 10 minutes here at ANZ Stadium. They've been under the hammer, the Penrith Panthers, for almost the entire second half. But that try will really lift their spirits and gets them right back into this game.
Well, you wonder how they've remained so close, don't you, John? I mean, they've hammer and tong all second half. They've made probably more mistakes than they've made in the last two put together. Yet now, I'm sure the Broncos players will realise, as much as anybody else here at the stadium, they're going to do it pretty tough at this last 10.
Well, it's almost as if Penrith could win this game, and Roy Simmons, in all honesty, would look you in the eye and say, well, look, we played badly. And yet, they could beat the premiership favourites right here.
Penrith, I'm sure that Roy Simmons will be sending out the message to them right now. We want a good set of 6 here to bring it out of their own territory. And Brisbane will be looking to force an error just out to their own 30. Adamson, Phil Adamson, just short of halfway. Again to Alexander, then away to Carter. Carter giving his pass on to Pulatua.
50 yards been made in 5 rucks, John. Confidence.
Last coming up, Alexander. Standing back behind the pack, getting his kick deep. Sailor on his own line picks it up. Carter leads the chase and puts Wendell Sailor to ground. And just staying down on the ground too for a moment, Steve Carter. I don't know if he's just got cramp as he hobbles back to position, the Penrith captain.
He's in trouble, Carter, John, and of course the Penrith bench is really restricted at the moment. They lost Sid Domick in the first half and Craig Gower out of action, so Roy Simmons is really restricted in his options.
Brisbane through Brad Corn. Good run by the big front rower. Able to unload his pass. It's gone backwards. Dived on by Philip Lee. No knock on.
Wasn't that a good reaction from Lee to pick that up on the run?
Walker with a quick play the ball. Away to Langer. Kicks ahead for Darren Smith to chase. Driving it downfield for Robbie Beckett. Beckett confronted by Smith and Sailor.
Check. Don't want the whistle, Kevin. Wait.
So Penrith just out from their own line. Jason Williams. Just bringing it out to their own 20. Darren Brown getting his pass away. Standing and unloading. Back to John Cross.
I don't want the penalty, do you?
Back to Adamson. Then away to Alexander. Runs it, shows it at first. Looking for the runner coming back on the inside.
Wait, don't go early, John.
Jody Gall with leg cramp.
Not prepared to take the risk. We'll bring it inside, please. We'll get help for you. Bring it inside, please.
Ball will be taken away from Gall for another player to play the ball. I thought it was leg cramp. I think it is. Then it may have been a knee injury, but now he's starting to jog a little more freely as he heads towards the touchline. And Mark Geyer will come back on to take his place.
Pretty smart work from Brisbane. Johnny Plath removing one of the markers and going in to try and get a quick chase, restrict the amount of room they can make from the kick.
They're on the last, Penrith, and they have to run it on the last as it goes away to Brown, and Brown turns it back on the inside to Peter Jorgensen. Jorgensen kicking ahead. His opposition fullback, Darren Lockyer, gets back for it, and fullback on fullback, he makes the tackle.
There's the one. Not the penalty, Steve. Good call. Stay square, please, lads. Stay square.
Slowly to his feet, Lockyer just winding down the clock and letting his big forwards get back into position. Walker from dummy half, getting outside his own 20. Darren Smith unloads to Wendell Sailor. Knocked on. Could that be the crucial mistake of the game? Because here's the opportunity for Penrith to work a scrum. And this scrum will be just about 30 metres out from the Brisbane line.
Well, we've just had 3 sets of 6 back-to-back where both teams have basically covered 70 and 80 metres of the field. Good kick on the end, and now Brisbane the error. This is the tail of the tape right now.
Feed it for yourself, feed it there. Play on.
Alexander works the scrum. Stephen Carter standing a long way away from him. Craig Wise to play the ball. Penrith inside the Brisbane 20. Darren Brown plays it. Again, it's Greg Alexander, the playmaker, who calls for it. Pulatua trying to bust through himself. Walker holds on to him and eventually gets the big fella to ground. Pass being kept alive from McGilvray. Pushed wide once more. Penrith still in with a chance. 8 metres out from the Brisbane line where the ball will be played back by McGilvray. Call for by Alexander. Runs it in behind Geyer. Gives it away to Girdler. Girdler, the little flick pass out to Adamson. The Brisbane defence swarms on him and Saylor stops him with the aid of Darren Smith. Greg Alexander getting it into the in goal. Dived on by Peter Jorgensen for Penrith.
There's two things I want to look at, Noel. One, where he come from, and two, did he actually force it?
So Peter Jorgensen, has he got the ball down to level up the ball game?
With a guy like Ryan Girdler about to kick the ball, you'd probably favour Penrith at the moment, I'm sorry.
Panthers aren't confident on this one. And the shake of the head by Peter Jorgensen may have given it away.
Oh, he did look like he was in front, didn't he? Yeah. I don't think there's too much doubt about that, although angles can be tricky.
I don't think he's forced it here.
No,
well, there, Voss has given us the call. Andrew, it looked like it was a pretty clear knock on the replay.
Yeah, well, if they were going to rule him onside, Peter Jorgensen has bombed a certain try and one that could have won the game for Penrith.
Well, it's a little bit unusual because you see opportunities like that. Did it look like he was trying to get his arms underneath the ball and scoop it before he put it down? Then you question whether he should have actually just dived on top of it.
When you're ready,
of course,
go.
It's a little bit slower on the replay, and we're all experts watching the box like that. But, boy, if he had just dived solid on top of that, it was a certain try. And I'd say John with Girdler there, he doesn't miss too many. He would have put them in front with just 4 minutes remaining.
It's just been a crazy, crazy match, hasn't it?
Mark
And that would have been
please,
just the perfect ending to it.
Mark there.
And now that error being compounded by trying to reef the ball away from Brisbane, and the Broncos get a penalty. And Darren Lockyer making sure that he finds touch. In fact, a good kick by Lockyer. It ended up making 20 metres, but it was from, well, probably more towards the left-hand side of the field, and he kicked back towards the right, but found touch.
John, absolutely imperative now. Broncos take no gambles. They take simple rucks up the middle. One pass from the dummy half. Absolute maximum 2 pass if an opportunity presents itself. It's not a case of trying to make too much yardies. It's taking the time off the clock and denying the opposition the ball, plus structuring the good kick and chase.
Inside the last 3 minutes of the game, Brisbane clinging to a 4-point lead here at ANZ Stadium. Out from the Penrith line, and Alan Langer using the little kick. Lost by Penrith, towed into the in goal, and it goes touching goal.
Now, what does he do here? Does he play the first knock on?
Knock on.
Yeah,
okay.
He's called it.
Penrith knock on. Scrum. Brisbane loose and feed.
Well, the referee ruling there was no advantage to Brisbane.
Here it is.
Wendell Saylor towing the ball into the in goal. It was Saylor who put the ball touch in goal, but the referee ruling there was no advantage to Brisbane, and consequently Brisbane get the feed to the scrum.
Well, just a couple of minutes to go. Referee calling time off the clock. We'll end up with just on 2 minutes to go.
Now roll it.
We'll also get the opportunity too of taking that extra time away. They've got to be able to maintain possession for the 6. If they can't score, just dribble the ball in behind and try and get a goal line drop out.
Ben Walker to play it. 3 metres out from the line. Slowly to his feet to play it to Alan Langer. Langer gives it away to Johnny Platt. Sees a half gap. Getting through it. Platt going for the line. He's pushed on the second and scores the try that seals it up.
Yeah, and he's been pretty good out of that area all night long. We've been used to seeing him take off from marker. On this occasion, he took off just a fraction wider. But I think it's been a guy that he's absolutely terrorised all night long. Mark Geyer has been a guy that's found him very tough to handle. Stepping inside, Geyer just a little bit slow coming across. The secondary tackle, of course, coming from Peter Jorgensen. Couldn't get to him either. Gee, it was a top little sidestep on the inside to firstly open up the gap from Adamson. Really from there, it didn't look like there was much chance, Mark, by getting him. And how often do we see a smile on this bloke's face? No matter whether he's getting a smack on the chin or scoring tries.
Well, the little somersault at the end, I think if you compare it to Robbie O'Davis's today, it just pales into insignificance. But he's happy, John Plath. And so Brisbane will remain undefeated after 3 rounds. But Penrith have certainly given them a fright tonight. Darren Lockey has kicked, waved away. Be a tough decision tonight for our Harvey Norman man of the match. And, some good players on both sides. Brisbane will come home victors tonight. And in fact, the referee is going to say we won't restart. We'll call full time. And so Brisbane have defeated Penrith by 26 points to 18. On behalf of Andrew Voss and Wally Lewis and all of the team, I'm John McCoy, bidding you good evening from ANZ Stadium in Brisbane.